So one thing I think success would look like is this logo. I would like this logo to be as recognizable globally as women's sex-based rights, as any other of these international logos. And we've just produced these, and they're iron-on, and I ironed them onto my shirt. And the you not only are they iron-on and then they start to peel off, apparently you should try to sew them on, and they're good because you can put them on top of a bad logo. So for instance, Bud Light, if you have a t-shirt with Bud Light on it, you can put this on to cover over your Bud Light t-shirt. So anything, so that's a positive thing. But I do think it's a very good logo, and it's if it was recognizable, that would be quite useful. So in thinking about this, I think a lot of women and people, men, in this struggle against gender identity ideology, were forced into the fight sometime around 2015 by realizing that their rights were under threat. So they seem to be, in a way, wanting to go back to the good old days of 2015. That's the sort of implicit narrative that many of the our co-fighters, our combatants are coming up with. They say that, well, they want to retain women-only toilets, sleeping accommodation, changing rooms for places women are undressed or vulnerable. They want to speak their minds freely without cancellation, freedom of speech. They want female-only sports, women's prizes to be won by women, and want women to speak for women. But it's unclear where they want to go. And almost everybody in this fight with us says they've got no idea where it came from. They were happily living their lives. They weren't feminists. They weren't worried about everything. Everything was great. And then something happened around 2015, and they want their life back. They want to go back. Now, that's absolutely not the case for us, radical feminists, and the more, I guess, everybody in WTI, certainly me. We come from a tradition where we saw this coming. We knew it was coming. Janice Raymond writing The Transsexual Empire in 1979, was it? Which we read, many of us read very shortly after that. So we saw it coming. Mary Daly writing gynecology in 1984, I think it was, or around that time, outlines very clearly the history of the medical profession problematizing female bodies and minds and mutilating us and adult women. And then Sheila Jeffreys continuing that tradition of razor sharp understanding from a radical feminist perspective, has been writing in a series of books and participating in the struggle against what now is called gender identity ideology. So we come from a very special place. We're a unique organization. And I think for us, success is not just to go back to 2015 and to those nice lives in professions that people had made their peace with. They were happy with the simmering level of misogyny that was going on in 2014. We were utterly not happy with it, and we want to fight this fight, but we don't want to go back to that. Now, one of the things is there's a huge coalition of people we are fighting with, so we do want to fight with them, but we want something different. Now, what WDI, I think one of the clear things that we have stated and we're working on, like Amparo said, is we want the implementation of the Declaration on Women's Sex-Based Rights. It's based on CEDAW, the Convention on the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and UNDEVW, which is the United Nations Declaration on Elimination of Violence Against Women. Now, we want all states and international institutions to implement all of those United Nations declarations. Most of the nations in the world, or the states in the world, have signed CEDAW and should be powering ahead on implementing that. CEDAW is in no way implemented. There's so much work to be done on simple women's sex-based rights. So, and the fact that they're being undermined now is a total disaster. So I'd say another form of success, we don't want any use of the term gender in any cases to muddle up. That would just clear everything up. As Sheila just said, abolition of gender. So that brings us on to the question, do we really think that the UN, the United Nations, is a body that we should be aiming at? Should we be lobbying the UN? Should we be asking the UN, demanding the UN that they should do these things we want, get rid of the term gender, etc.? Should this be a place that we are engaging with? And I think we should. And I think that we, as WDI, it is a good idea for us to be doing actions towards the United Nations. One of the reasons is that our declaration is based upon the fact that is based upon CEDAW, and that has been signed by 159 governments worldwide. And although the United Nations is imperfect, it has done a lot of good things, and it is redeemable, or it is a possible area for change. I think given the huge crises that are happening now in the world, with the climate catastrophe, more wars, lack of resources, meaning there's going to be even more wars, and the far or the right wing sort of aim to move us away from even the concept of human rights or the concept of internationalism. And I think that, personally, I think that it is a good thing that we have got this commitment to reminding people about CEDAW and international sisterhood, but internationalism. So I would say we should rework or continue to do the work towards the United Nations. Now, on the negative side, we know that the UN is, or we do, I don't know if everybody knows this, but it's a lot of people think that the UN has been a tool to promote Western ideas, norms. It often has done more harm than good. So it is, and it is also, parts of it are promoting gender identity ideology. They're working closely with international NGOs like Save the Children, Médecins Sans Frontières, and Oxfam, all of whom are promoting gender identity ideology. But I think that it is a good thing for us to be doing anyway, to be working related to the United Nations. Now, in order for WDI to do some of this work, we have been working to some extent on various things. One is the fantastic book that has been written that Amparo has mentioned, Women's Rights, Gender Wrongs. And hopefully not only will we really promote that book, which is a significant achievement, but it's really useful document to show the situation globally. Hopefully more books will come out along those lines, from Kath Aiken and Sally Wainwright, but more of those books that will be success in my mind. As another thing is, we've talked about, but not yet done, the idea of having an online survey to monitor and publish data on which countries have ratified CEDAW. That's easy, we know that. Signed UNDEVW, and which have undermined sex-based rights by implementing gender identity ideology. So creating law to make it possible to say men or women, instituting hate speech laws to punish people who contest the gender identity ideology, and altering their own laws to implement gender identity ideology. I think that's something that, given our reach and our website, it would be a successful thing to do, and it'd be very useful, and it would help also us sharing information. That's something we would really do. Not only should we, in my mind, we would be successful if we did those things, but I think we also want to nurture the international women's movement. So there's an idea that top-down influencing government, getting laws changed is one way of doing it, but there is also the incredibly important work of Sisterhood is Powerful, of taking our eyes off the guys of creating international sisterhood, which with the opportunity of Zoom and networking, internationalism, we've been reasonably successful at doing. We've created some really strong international links. And I think that is success, and particularly at the moment with the United Nations not providing a place where the international women's movement can meet. They've closed that off by that. We are not allowed to even be at the side events in New York because we make people feel unsafe by our ideas and by continually promoting the Declaration on Women's Sex-Based Rights. So, but we have gone outside we're working on our own internationally, and I think that is a really big success, and I think we should do that. So I would also, just putting some sort of facts on, I think that it would be great if we had country contacts in every country and we raise money to pay staff to facilitate this international work that we're doing. It's a crucial part of the fight against gender identity ideology, which is global and is being implemented. We heard from Linda Hart, who about how it's going in Finland. It's the same thing in almost every country. It's playing out. We've heard from lots of people. So I think that we do have a justifiable need, or it would be, we could play a very good role in international networking and fighting that. So I think we should try to get paid staff to promote the declaration and get country contacts in every country. Apart from those things, I think our weekly webinars, Feminist Question Time, which we're at right now, and Radical Feminist Perspectives are key parts of our work. The Feminist Question Time has meant that we have been able to hear from women from many, many countries. I don't know how many, but we know it's many. We also get attendees from all over the world who come along, and we hear about women who say, I thought I was the only person, I'm the only person I know in my country who worries about this, but I feel now linked up with other people by coming to Feminist Question Time. Now, Radical Feminist Perspectives is a key part of our work, in my view, and I think other people's, is in that we are bringing back to life many of the knowledge. We're sort of keeping alive feminist literature and ideas and rejuvenating it, reminding people so that those things are not lost, and we can educate new young women or women new to this and continue our ideas. And I've always thought that this term TERF, trans exclusionary radical feminist, which is everybody's accused of being a TERF if they don't go along with this, is actually really fantastic, because I say it's a portal. So the term, it's a portal, and we, WDI, are here to welcome people in. So the moment they get called a TERF, they quickly go online, they go, what's a TERF? What's a radical feminist? And I think we should be right at the heart of what radical feminism is, and be there and say, yes, we are radical feminists, come on in, and make sure that we are there. And I think, well, one of my feelings is we should let this attack on women, we should use the attack on women to do a patriarchy beating riposte. So I feel that they attacked us, and they're going to rue the day when they attacked us, because our riposte is going to just go so much further than 2015. We're going to go to post-patriarchy, Herland, or whatever, Mitchfest, or 24/7. And oh yes, and my last thing I would like to say is this, that of course we're going somewhere, but I think success is now. Us being here now in the webinar, everybody online, us being here is a success. We are in a meta-patriarchal space. We've created international sisterhood, and just the very doing of it, the actual now of today, is incredibly special that we've done it. So if this is all we've done, I think it's a massive success. But let's do it lots more times.